I never thought I would be saying this, but it has been 90 days since I decided to code. At that time, I didn't even know how to write a single line of code, but now I have created multiple projects. I've almost received a certain certification to talk about a little bit further in this video. I have faced plenty of burnout, and I finally learned if coding was really for me. Let's jump right into it. So first, I want to start with, why did I want to learn to code? That was the biggest question, and that was what got me to start coding. So I really wanted to learn to code because coding has always been a passion for me. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I actually talked about how I was going for a computer science degree. My goal was to learn how to code, learn the back end, learn software engineering, and that was my dream. But at that time, certain circumstances in my life kind of made that very difficult, to the point where I decided to drop out because it was too stressful with daily life, a job, and school. So I ended up dropping out of college. Wow. Very scared and very upset and didn't really know what to do next. I got into a warehouse job and life has been pretty good ever since. But then I ended up getting hit with the idea of possibly losing my job. Now it hasn't happened. Things are kind of still under wraps, but in a way, it is no matter what gonna happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean from what is going to happen. It doesn't mean that they are going to fire people, but the industry from where I'm working is going to change drastically. So even if I don't get fired, with the changes, I might just want to leave, depending on how severe those changes are going to be. And from the way it sounds, it's going to be severe. In my head, I decided, damn, if I'm going to lose my job, I need a backup plan. So I decided to jump into web development. Started watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I was seeing that a lot of people had made them into careers. I seen a lot of people who actually struggled as well. I seen people struggling, and then, it's been hard for them to find a career, but I've noticed something. But we'll get to that later in the video. Hopefully I remember. I'm gonna just bring up a little bit here. I noticed that a lot of the people that failed to get there was either because they quit coding, didn't have a good enough projects, and they didn't really understand what they needed to bring to a team. Fourth, they were very picky about their pay and what industry they worked for. Those are going to be huge setbacks for you guys if you're going to be picky. If you want to work at Google, that's a beautiful dream. But remember, take any opportunity you can get. Don't get stuck on just Google. Don't get stuck on just the big named companies. And I think that's why a lot of people tend not to make it into those careers. But we'll get a little bit further in this video about those topics. But if you want to watch an actual video that talks exactly about those topics, I believe it was my video called, damn, I don't know. I'll have to go find it. Put it right here. Please, Marcy. Editing Marcy, put it right here. Don't miss this opportunity. You may be wondering, what have I been using to learn to code? Now, there are YouTube videos that I watch. I believe his name is Professor Messer. I watch FreeCodeCamp videos sometimes on YouTube. I actually use the FreeCodeCamp website. Currently, that is where I'm going to be receiving my responsive web design certification. So you can use FreeCodeCamp, get certifications in your name that are industry recognized, but they are not accredited. I believe what you need to do to break into the industry, but I have not yet broke into the industry, so taking my advice, take it with a grain of salt. But I've heard everybody say certifications aren't really the way in. It may boost you a bit, but it's not the way in. Use FreeCodeCamp, the Odin project, W3 schools, the MDM documentation for definitions to understand stuff on a deeper level. All of that stuff is amazing for your learning journey, and that currently is what I am using and have been using. I'm not gonna make this 90 months seem glamorous. I want to make it seem as raw and exactly what it really felt like. Man, was this the most toughest, I said 90 months, toughest 90 days of my life. Now I want to get into it. The first month was kind of a breeze in the sense of HTML and CSS, but I did end up stressing myself out because when I tend to think in the future and think a lot, it just stresses me out. Because CSS, I want to say FreeCodeCamp, I 100% recommend for HTML and CSS. It is goated. It taught me so much about CSS and HTML. Wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But as I was going through that journey, it was easy. I was happy. I was like, oh, the coding is quite like, hey, somebody even told me CSS is worse than JavaScript. I was like, amazing, because CSS felt great to me. When I tell you The moment I touched JavaScript was the moment I was going to quit. Sometimes it hits me to these days, like till this day, where I'm like, is coding really for me? And I say that all the time, but it's true, because JavaScript is hell. The burnout was real, the stress was real, the struggle was real. Shoot, I'm in tutorial hell right now over JavaScript right now. You tell me to do something with JavaScript, oh, how do you make this button work? I know how to write every single piece of code to make that button work, in the sense of, oh, this is gonna clearly just need an event listener that equals the click to the function, whatever. But then you're like, okay, but inside of that, tell me the logic to make that button work. I'ma look at you like this, because I don't know. I don't know. I can't build. Even though I know the fundamentals, I'm no better than someone who's just learning it. So that sucks. But what I gotta say, 90 days of learning how to code, this is what I ran into. I do want to talk about some of the projects I have built that definitely was so worth it, but those projects were something else. I created a restaurant project, which I didn't fully like design with CSS, but I do definitely plan on going back to it. I had a restaurant project. I had a about me project, a favorites. I made I'm trying to think, because I did a lot, but then not at the same time. I have a Netflix clone. I have almost finishing, well, I guess, yeah, I would say almost finishing an Apple clone. I think I did a counter project. That was my first project, was with JavaScript. I ate on that one. If you told me to rebuild it, can't do it. That's my problem. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. I have a to-do list. I have with JavaScript in it as well, which I needed quite some help with, but I eventually got to it. So I would say, had my damn to-do list, I could claim it, even though I needed help. As of right now, obviously the projects, all that are on FreeCodeCamp, because I've created all of those regardless if they took me step by step. So what, I created them. I think I created a tribute page. I created a technical document that I'm doing right now, which is still for FreeCodeCamp, but I'm doing my own little spin on it. So either way, still my project. I want to say my favorite one was my Netflix clone. And this is a question that people actually always ask me. How do I stay motivated? How do I stay inspired? How do I keep discipline? This is always the way that I answer it. If I never documented my journey on YouTube from day 0 to day 90, I probably wouldn't have never been consistent. What was I getting at? What was I just talking about? So yes, I'm like, if it wasn't for this journey here, I would not be able to stay motivated. I wouldn't have no discipline. I would not have been inspired. Today, specifically, I didn't even want to code. I was doing a live stream for 2 hours. I did not want to code. I had a big headache. I was over it. But because I committed myself to YouTube and documenting my journey, I'm like, I got to. Go to my first video. It is day 0. Literally, one of the first lines that I say in that is, I'm learning how to code, and I don't even have a laptop yet. That moment forward, I knew I was gonna stay committed because I put the video out there. It got like 300 views the moment I posted it, maybe like a day or two later, whatever. It's not a, calm down. But, you know, posted it. And then I was like, damn, I gotta stay committed. That is what keeps me inspired. It's not about, you know, thinking about the future job. It's not about thinking about my subscriber count and thinking about this, thinking about that. It's literally about the community, the audience, the supporters I built here. And I committed to them that I was gonna keep learning it, that I cannot pull back. So I wanna get into, what would I do differently? Man, there's only one thing I'm upset about. In one of my videos back in, I think when I made a month or so of coding, somebody told me I should jump to JavaScript. That was bad. And the reason why I think that was bad for me was because when I finally jumped into JavaScript, they were like, you know, you should jump into it because once you finally get into it, you'll understand all three. So try to learn them all three together. Why did I listen? Because I thought they knew what they were talking about. And maybe for them it worked. Maybe for others it worked. But when I did that, it actually sent me back further in my HTML, set me back in my CSS, and set me back in JavaScript. And here's why. Because I was so focused on learning JavaScript that even when I wasn't really learning, because since I can't build on my own, I was neglecting my HTML and CSS skills. So by the time I realized, you know what, I need to give JavaScript a break, I kind of forgot how to do CSS. I really backslid, but at the end of the day, where did I backslid from? Because there's no exact roadmap to follow. Just because someone did it in 3 doesn't mean you have to. Someone did it in 6 doesn't mean you have to. Someone did it in 12 months, that doesn't mean you have to. One of the biggest questions y'all probably are thinking of, you know, being 90 days into coding. Am I good at coding now? I, for one, will say I don't really know how to judge myself on if I'm good or not, but I will say you could definitely tune into my live streams. I stream around 12 p.m. EST from good at HTML, of course, because that's easy. It's not even really a language. But then when it comes to CSS is goated as hell. And I don't think I'm creative mentally for CSS. But I want to say I know CSS, I know what to do, but when it comes to the creative part of like the human brain, like how, oh, this would look better if it slid in like this. Those are the type of things that I don't know yet and that I haven't learned yet. I feel like you learn kind of the more you do it and you're like, oh my gosh, this will look better in the front while this one's in the back transparent. But I know how to make it transparent. I just don't know how to get my ideas, have good ideas, and then bring those ideas to life. What is next in my coding journey? I would say, like I've already stated earlier in this video, my certification for responsive web design is next. I have been screaming every single day until I receive that certification. Right now I'm working on one of my certification projects, which is the technical web page about HTML is what I'm doing. Mine's about at least the HTML elements. And yeah, so I'm damn near this close. Once I finish that project, I think I have 2 more after that, and then a couple of things in between that, which should relatively be quick. So I am this close, bruh, to getting my certification. So watch my lives. I'm gonna keep going live every day until I receive it. After that, like I said, I'm probably going to hop on the Odin project or probably do a Udemy course on JavaScript on live as well. And I'm going to end up reteaching myself JavaScript because I know a lot, but I don't know a lot, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna reteach myself. Maybe the Odin project will teach it a little better, hopefully, because that has been one of my biggest struggles. And then even after that, JavaScript, you know, once I finally get that in the core and I understand it, I'm gonna end up doing the JavaScript lessons on FreeCodeCamp, which I've already done, but I haven't got too far. But when I do that and I get pretty far, I'm actually going to be receiving that certification next. I'm gonna try to grind for that one. So 90 days in, am I giving up? Hell no. I know people who have given up, and it's because, you know, they expected to have a career like this. You know, that's what's wrong with our society sometimes, is that we want like a get rich quick scheme. We look at the pay, it's like, oh shoot, as a web developer you could get paid like 130K a year. Oh my gosh, like how could I do that? Oh shoot, there's a 6-month roadmap I could follow, let me go down there. Then you do everything and then you don't get it right away and you get upset. It's like, man, it's not that easy. It's just not that easy. And if you want things in life to be easy like that, then you're in the wrong life, because that's just not what it is. If you're thinking about learning how to code, I 100% suggest it. Just always remember that AI is going to know the entry-level type of jobs. You need to make your knowledge bigger than that. And you also need to learn how to work with AI. Working with AI meaning in the sense, AI isn't going to be able to replicate what a human wants from a website. That's going to be difficult, right? Even right now, you ask ChatGPT to like do a thumbnail for you, they're going to end up messing that up even if you give them the most descriptive way to do it. Now, with what you need to do as the human that is going to try to be the coder, how can you direct AI to do what that your client wants? And then when AI messes up, can you fix it? Can you fix AI's code and make it look like the way your client wants? That is what you need to focus on. To end this video here, if you got any questions for me, comment them down below. I will answer them. If you got any dev questions, like real life dev questions, I have real life developers on this channel. They will end up responding to your comments. And if not, I'll get them. No, I'm just kidding. Hope y'all enjoyed, and deuces. Sorry for that laundry bag, y'all. It's clean clothes. Just folding is quite a task.